Hello everybody, I hope everyone is doing well and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my summer go-to makeup look. This has been the look I've been wearing the most often. Same goes for the products. Of course, I'll swap a few things out here and there if I'm wanting like a different blush color or an eyeshadow color, but for the most part, these are the products I fall back on. I also find this look to be very heat resistant because I am going to be using a lot of creams, and I find that those are really easily fixed during the day, and they're just the most adaptable I find with the heat. But I will be showing you the whole shebang today. Some days I will forgo a couple steps, like if I'm not feeling any highlighter that day or any eyeshadow, I'll forgo those steps. But before we get into today's video, a portion of it is sponsored by e.l.f. Cosmetics, so a big thank you to them. Their support is very appreciated over here. So before we get into the look, I would love for you to subscribe if you aren't already. It means so much to me, and let's get to it. I'm going to go with these little clips today. I feel like they suit the summery vibe of today's vid. Cute! Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be going in with is the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Putty Primer. I've been loving this stuff. It's just a nice primer, and I feel like it's been helping out my skin. I feel like it's a definite contributor. So I just take a little bit in my fingertips, warm it up a touch, then I'll focus it in the center of my face, and the excess will be spread to the outer portions of my face. I love that stuff because I feel like it just creates a very smooth canvas to work on. So now I'm going to be going in with the skin tint. I kind of been switching out between two. I either use the MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body, or of course the Fenty Beauty Ease Drops. So I'm going to opt for this one today since I feel like I've been using the Fenty Ease Drops in like all of my recent videos, so I need to switch it up a little bit. I am a creature of habit though. I'm using the shade N1 today. So what I like to do is I take a touch on my fingertips and I'll apply with my fingers in the areas where I want to build up more coverage, because this is a very interesting skin tint because the more you rub it in and warm it up in your fingertips, the more coverage it gets. So I really like doing this in the areas where I have some healing acne scars, just so I can get more of a perfected look. As you do this, you feel the product thicken up, and it's so interesting. I've never had a product that does this. But now that I have that base going, I squeeze a bit on the back of my hand, and then I apply it with a foundation brush. This is the Rare Beauty foundation brush, and I go in with a brush on the rest of the face just because I want to slightly correct like the redness and even everything out, but I like how my skin still shines through. And I also add it to the rest of my face because it would look a little bit mismatched if I just left the skin tint on the areas that I applied with my fingers. So there is the skin tint on. It just gives an all over glow that I adore, but it's not too dewy. Like, it feels like it's going to stay all day, and it does. My foot is so asleep right now, I can like barely concentrate, but the show must go on. For concealer, I'm using the Rare Beauty concealer in the shade 210N. I'm just applying some into the inner portion and a little bit on the outer. I feel like that's all I need, especially matched with this skin tint. And I'm just going to blend it out with my sponge. This specific sponge is a beauty blender, by the way. And I'm going to take whatever's left on my sponge and kind of correct the areas where I have a bit more redness, and it's usually around my nose right here. And it covers it enough for my liking. Now for my under eye powder. Do I even need to name it? I don't think so anymore. Seriously, nothing beats this powder for me. The day that I find something better than this for under the eye is going to be seriously a national holiday. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. By the way, this is the Pat McGrath under eye blurring powder. I don't even know the name anymore because it's rubbed off. And I'm just applying it with this fluffy eyeshadow brush just under the eye. I also feel very determined to finish this up. It lasts a long time. And I'm also going to take a little bit of the powder and set around my nose right here. But that's going to be it for a bit for powder. Now I'm going to add some warmth to my base, and I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. I use the shade Tan Lines. I love this shade. It's very soft, but it adds enough warmth, and it also kind of sculpts at the same time. Since this one is kind of more on the neutral side for a bronzer, and I'm going to be using my Melt 777 brush. I really hope that they relaunch this brush. It's so perfect for cream bronzer or cream contour. It's truly a shame. And this bronzer is very forgiving. Even if you're a little bit more sloppy with your technique one day, it still blends beautifully and always looks seamless. Plus it has a sheerness to it, which also aids in that. I really like the putty cheek products because they eventually kind of set down to this like powdery finish, which I love that aspect because it does help with longevity. These just stay put and wear so beautifully. I like to add a bit to my chin just because I feel like I added it everywhere else. Plus my chin's a little bit lonely for it, okay? So now for highlighter, I'm going to be using the M Cosmetics Moonbeam Halo Cushion Highlighter. I didn't include this in my favorite highlighter video just because I feel like I didn't get enough use out of it yet. It still feels pretty fresh to my collection, so I felt like it was a little rushed to include it in there. But I'm using it with my finger. I find that it applies the best that way. It just really melts into the base. And you also get the most out of your product that way, so you're not wasting any of it getting sopped up from your sponge or your brush. Also, I do have a full face of M Cosmetics coming out. I did film it a couple weeks ago. I just held off from editing it because I had other videos that took priority, but I feel sad that it's in the process of getting edited because they launched some new products like the So Soft Blush and So Soft Multi-Face Play bronzers and contours. So that's going to be missing from that video, but I'll review those very, very soon, I promise. Now for blush, I am going to be using yet another putty product from e.l.f. This is the Putty Blush. Oh, I don't know what shade I have actually. I'll have the specific shade in the description down below, but it's this one here. It's like a pinky peach. I'm trying to get myself more into pink blushes, and I feel like this is the perfect one to kind of bridge me to that point. But I'm going to be applying this with my Smith 115 brush. And I really like this color. I feel like it adds like a freshness to the face. Usually I always go for like bronzier blushes, but I'm enjoying switching it up. And of course I like to add a touch on my nose. If I don't add it to my nose, I feel uncomfortable. I don't know. I must do it at this point. Sometimes I will skip out on powder. Some days I'll add a touch if I feel like I'm going to need that extra longevity, which I'm going to add just a little veil of it today. And I'm actually just going to use this powder here instead of picking up a different one. I use just such a tiny amount and I go in the center of my face. I kind of dodge the outer portion of my face, kind of where I get sweaty, because that only leads to disasters for me. So I keep it in the center to help my oiliness stay at bay. So it's now time for me to pop off camera and do my brows, prime my eyelids. So while I'm off doing that, please enjoy the kitten intermission. I'm primed and browed up. These are the products I used. Where's my, hello? These are the products I used. So the NARS eyeshadow primer. I also used the Kosas brow pencil and brow gel, and I felt like being a little extra today. I wanted to see how this worked with the Kosas brow gel. It's kind of unnecessary, but this is the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Fix Clear Brow Gel. Honestly, it doesn't need it, but I wanted to run this through today just to see. Anyways, let's move past this. So now for my eyeshadow. If I choose to do an eyeshadow look, I'll usually go to like a one and done kind of color. This is the color I'm going to be using today. It's the Danessa Myricks Color Fix in the shade Nude 8. She has a nudes collection and they're all so beautiful. Every time I use these, I'm shocked at the amount of pigment that's actually in there. I just put a little drop and that's how far it's stretched. But there's the color, so you can see it has like a softness to it, but it's still very apparent. I hope that they bring the nude range to Sephora, but you can get these ones on the Danessa Myricks website. I have a few other of the colors from the nudes collection. They're so beautiful. By the way, full face of Danessa Myricks is going to be coming to a subscription box near you very soon. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on the back of my hand, and I like to take an eyeshadow brush, kind of like this one. This is specifically is a Huda Beauty Eye Naughty Blender, so it's kind of flattened, but kind of fluffy at the same time. You can also use any kind of like packing brush. And I like to start on my mobile lid, especially if I'm working with creams, because this is where I want the most pigment to be, right? Really making sure it's worked into the lash line. I don't want any weird patches. Then I'll kind of bring it up into the crease. And you get a good amount of work time with the Danessa Myricks color fixes, so you can kind of relax. But I jumped to a fluffy brush for the crease just to help smooth everything out. And I love these things because they're very, very, very quick. And for me personally, I like to bring whatever's on top to the bottom. You can choose to do whatever you like. This little brush is a Smith 233. I love that color so much. It's bronzy yet soft, really nice everyday mid-toned brown. And sometimes if you kind of over blended or your blend up here isn't as smooth as you'd like, you can take your powder on a fluffy brush and you can run it along that edge, and it should kind of diffuse and blur that area, and it'll soften it back up again. One of my favorite tricks for when I'm on the go or in a rush and things aren't looking the way I want. Just blur it out. And now I'm going to take a touch of the highlighter I used with a little baby brush so I can apply it into my inner corner. And for my mascara, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Big Mood Mascara, which is their newest one. It's like a volumizing mascara. So I love, this is the wand. It's like an hourglass shape. And I find this one to be very comparable to some of my higher end favorites, like the Bite Beauty Upswing or the NARS Climax Extreme. Okay, so here are the eyes all finished. I did apply my M Cosmetics Pick Me Up on my bottom lashes for some extra longevity, but for my top lashes, I love how volumizing this one has been. So now let's move on to the lips. I'm really, really excited for the lips. So usually I would go in with my Kosas Jellyfish lip gloss, but they actually expanded the shade range of their wet lip glosses, launched 3 new shades. They have Unhooked, Unbuttoned, and Unzipped. Really, really cute. And I wanted to try them on before applying any lip liner, just so I can choose which one I want to go in with today. I'm first going to try on Unzipped, and this one looks like it has like a little bit of a pearl inside. It's not chunky glitter. It looks like it has like a sheen to it. This one might be a little bit light for my liking. It's a little light against my natural lip color. I like the pearl inside of it though, because it doesn't look like a shimmery lip gloss. It just like amplifies the glossy look, if that makes sense. But I'm not a huge fan of that color on my lips. Pulls a little icy. Now I want to try this one, which is Unbuttoned. And this one has a little bit of pearl in it too, but it's like a lot less than the previous Unzipped shade. That one's a little bit more pinky. That's really cute actually. I like that one. I feel like that one suits the blush really nicely. It gives like a subtle amount of pink. I like that one. Let's try the last one while we're at it. The last one, Unhooked. Which this one I believe is flat. There's no shimmer in this one at all. Ooh, this one's a little bit more mauvey than I was expecting for some reason. I don't think this one suits this look, but it is pretty. I think I'm going to go with the second shade. I think that's cute, but not for the tones I have going on. And for my lip liner, just so I can match the cheek color, I'm going to be using the M Cosmetics Bunny Lip Liner. It's just like a nice pink. I feel like it'll suit the blush nicely. Now I'm going to top that off with Unbuttoned. Look at me wearing pinks. Who is she? Time to release the hair. And there we have it. Here is my updated go-to summer makeup look. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and took some inspiration out of this one. I wanted to say another huge thank you to e.l.f. Cosmetics for sponsoring a portion of today's video. Always is such a joy to work with them. I'll have links to all the products I used in the description down below as always, and I will see you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye.